So I agree with everything she said. I see it from a different purview. I never worked in the school district as an employee. So part of the problem is that we don't value students with disabilities like we value students who don't have disabilities. And I'm just going to tell you the truth in case I'm not invited back. We don't, you know, my son was never a school board meeting photo op. And the things that we honor and celebrate in schools is not equitable. The most marginalized population, which receives the most funding, that funding absolutely does not go to teachers. It does not go to paraprofessionals. It does not go to people on the front lines. We don't care enough in school districts to train our teachers on the application of the law, the letter of the law, the spirit of law, in special education. And so there is a way to get it right. Obviously, IDEA is only funded about 8 to 11%, depending what year it is. It's supposed to be funded at 40%. But if we don't get the money out of the top of the building, so when you look at a school district, which is almost always the largest employer wherever you are across the nation, we spend a lot of money up here. We are not running low on science AP teachers. We're not running low on coaches. We're not running low on principals. And listen, I believe in polyester and yelling during football season, right? But probably none of us are related to anybody that grew up to play football for a living. But it would be helpful if we could read. It would be helpful if we could regulate. It could be helpful if we could have a reciprocal conversation. And you know, the money that we spend as an advocate, some school districts spend a lot of money when I show up, probably my beauty, I think that's what it is. I have a school district close to here and they spent $67,000 because I attended 8 IEP meetings to have an attorney sitting there. So I promise you, it's never about money. It's about how we spend money in school districts. I have a lady from overseas that watches us online. She goes, I love when you do your videos in front of the coliseums. Those are football stadiums. And I love a football stadium, but why don't we put a lid on it? Why don't we make it a building that we could use? Why don't, you know, and so until we fix that problem, we're not gonna fix the problem. And we don't treat our teachers with honor and respect. They take other people's children on purpose every day. Right, sticky people, right, and they love children, and 75% of the people that I've trained for the last 30 years are educators. Do you know why? Because the education is not given to them or provided to them in a useful way in their school districts. And so school districts say, oh, well, Miss Allen, she has access to Region 4. Really, in her free time, she's gonna watch a 14-hour video on how to write a standards-based IEP goal? No, she's not going to do that. And so until we value teachers and special educators and evaluators and paraprofessionals, then we're gonna be stuck here. So other persons in the district, and they should all be honored, principals and coaches, and they go on week-long trips to New Jersey so we can win 7th grade baseball, because that's important, right? And that's fine, but we have to give the money equitably, and we haven't done that yet. And what we care about, we fund, and what we fund, we focus on. And we have not focused on kids with disabilities correctly yet.
I just want to say, and add on to what she says, when I was in the classroom, I felt valued. So when I'm in my IEP meetings and ARD meetings, you know, I tell teams when they're doing things correctly, when they're doing things right, because a lot of the teachers aren't trained. I have general ed teachers who sit and say, oh, I don't know what that is. I have special ed teachers who don't know right now how to program and teach the grade level curriculum and teach students prerequisite skills and how to incorporate their IEP goals into their learning. It's hard. It is hard being a special ed teacher. So that is the reason we are seeing staffing where you have classrooms going with long-term subs. You know, we don't just want a body in the room. We want someone who can implement that specially designed instruction. But at some point, the districts are just, you know, at some point, they're just looking for a body. So then that's when you have me and Karen showing up to a meeting because a child's IEP does not meet all of their educational needs, academic, social, emotional, behavioral, because they just have as I call them, they have a check collector. So our kids are, you know, they're not, and I tell, they're not special ed students, and we say that, and I've said it for years. They are general ed students who receive special ed services. They have access to anything in that district. So if we change our mindset to say they are general ed students who receive special ed services, we have to start the shift in that. So, I mean, I've said it for years, special ed students, but they technically are a general ed student who receives special ed services.
I'd love to hear more about your journeys with families and how you partner with families. I'm wondering if a lot of the families that come to you for services have already tried on their own multiple times.
Yeah,